Yo! Welcome back! Today, I'm here to review the latest episode of Pokémon Horizons. This episode is titled Someone We Can't See, Whosawhatsit, and the summary for this episode is LIKO suddenly goes missing while shopping. The Rising Voltacklers search Artisan for her based on reports of her whereabouts Dot has gathered through the internet, but they are unable to locate her. As the group grows increasingly nervous, sensing the involvement of an enemy that they can't see, Dot decides to speed things up and play her trump card, contacting IONO, popular streamer and gym leader of Levencia. So, let me enlarge myself real quick. So, this episode is a continuation of last episode. LIKO has lost her memory. Most of the episode is hers trying to regain her memory on her end. She's trying to figure out where she is, what she's doing here. And most of the episode with her, the scenes with her, is spent, she's been narrating, talking to herself. It's kind of what she did in the beginning of the series. It seems like her memory has gone back to the very beginning of the series, before any of this stuff happened when she first met Sprigatito. So the whole episode on her part is spent doing that. The moment where she regains her memory, though, is a callback to episode 2, where she jumps off the building. It's actually my favorite scene during this whole amnesia plot, and I really like that callback. But I think they handled it pretty well. Throughout the whole episode, she gets random flashbacks, so we slowly get there to her regaining her memory. So the other part of the episode, right, is the Rising Voltacklers trying to look for her, because Spinel is working from the shadows. He's been manipulating their technology this whole time. So I think that's pretty much what he's doing. Like, they can't get a hold of her or anything. So they go to Artisan to look for her. This is also another trick by Spinel, because she's actually in Levencia the whole episode. So he basically did that to throw them off, give him some more time, buy some time, right? I really like that, how calculated he is compared to Amethio, who was always head-on collision. I think they mentioned that in this episode too, that the explorers would have attacked them head-on. And I really like that. I really like the contrast to that. I like how he is more calculated, because with a group like the Rising Voltacklers, you need to you don't want to do them head-on, because you're probably going to lose, right? So I like how calculated he is. I like he does everything from the shadows. He did everything. He attacked them from within. So I really like that. That's why he got so far, because he didn't attack them head on, right? So they spend the whole episode doing that. Once Dot realizes that she's been thrown off, right, she calls on her fellow streamer, IONO, the gym leader of Levencia, to do a collab where they summon the fans and stuff like that, their fans, to go look for LIKO. So they do that. I gotta say, IONO, she's just like how she is in the games. She's energetic. Love that about her. Definitely my favorite part of the episode overall. I loved it. So they do this collab. It turns out LIKO's watching, of course, because she still remembers Nido thing. She's been a fan of Nido thing, so of course she's there to watch. But when they realize it's her, they go on a whole little chase. Now, obviously, it was kind of for gags. It's not really too important, right? So let's go back. Roy actually gets separated from the group because they all go to Artisan to look for LIKO. So he gets separated from the group because his Wattrel actually runs all the way. He chases them all the way to Levencia. And, I think it's a little contrived. He just happens to stop there, his Wattrel. I think that's a little convenient, a little contrived. But what can you do, right? I know they wanted all of them to meet up at the end. Of course, the two main characters, they wanted them to meet up at the end. So let's go there. Now once she actually jumps off, like I mentioned earlier, she jumps off the building. That's where she regains her memories fully. So now basically they found her, right? She regains her memories. All that's cool. So then they realize that, LIKO realizes her pendant's gone, right? So the episode ends with them going to look for that. So that's basically where the episode ends. Now let me get into the characters of this episode. Dot she's the MVP. She makes everything happen. Love Dot in this episode. I love that. It seems like as the episodes go by, she's finally warming up to everybody, not just LIKO. She calls LIKO her friend in this. She's really warming up to everybody, and she finally goes outside in this episode. She touches grass. She leaves the house. So that was cool to see. And another thing I noticed, the weird way she runs. She runs like she's speed walking. But she finally leaves the house in this episode. And it's really nice to see her warm up to everybody. And the next episode is also a Dot episode, so I hope Liko finally finds out that Dot is Nito things. That needs to happen. Of course, it didn't really happen this episode because, of course, she was out of it. Liko was out of it the whole episode, so she didn't find out. But she really needs that plot really needs to end like ASAP because it's annoying. Now that didn't really happen this episode. That gag wasn't here, but it's just something that needs to end. That gag needs to end. But the three main characters, of course, in this episode are IONO, Liko, and Dot. Freed is there, of course. The other Volt Tacklers don't do anything. They don't do anything. But that's basically the four or the three because Freed doesn't do too much. I mean, Roy is there too. Like, he's just kind of there, right? It's not his episode. So, like I mentioned, Iona is my favorite part of the episode, just like how she is in the games. It's revealed that she already knew who Dot was. Of course, it makes sense because they're both streamers and Nito thing is popular, right? So, it makes sense. Yeah, I don't really have any problems with that. It makes sense. She's my favorite part of the episode, like I said. I hope we see more of them because, like I said, when other gym leaders have appeared, usually when gym leaders appear in Pokemon in general, they're usually one and dones. They don't come back or do anything. So I hope that she pops back up in the future, but I don't know. I'm leaning on no, because like I said, with Pokemon, they usually only come in for a few episodes and never come back. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking. I mean, she might come back, but I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. If I were a betting man, I'll say she probably won't come back. And it's sad because she doesn't, all things considered, she's not in this episode too much, but I do hope, let's hope that she does come back. I don't think so though. If I were a betting man, I'd say no. But, and Liko, like I mentioned, the whole episode she spent trying to regain her memory. I think it's cute how she went back to earlier in the series. We're only 15 episodes in, by the way. We're not that far into this series. That was not too long ago. But it's a callback to the very beginning of the series, of course, where she's narrating the whole time. You just hear her thoughts, and definitely a cute callback. Definitely nice to see. That's basically it, though. Like I said, Freed is just here trying to look for Liko. Doesn't do too much. Also, Spinel is here. He doesn't do much in this episode either, but he's kind of just working from the shadows, still manipulating them, trying to throw them off. That's basically his whole role in this episode. He's already got the pin. He's already got what he wants, so he's sitting here trying to throw them off because I guess he does anticipate a collision, which it looks like it's going to happen next episode. So yeah, last thing I'll say, Roy, he doesn't do much. He just, his whole thing, he's just kind of just there. The chase, War Troll just chasing, the whole chase thing, that's kind of that's all he does in this episode, really. But overall, this episode's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Now, the big thing, the next week is the big collision, I think so, with Spinel, the Explorers, and the Volt Tacklers. I'm really interested in seeing how he fights. I'm really interested to see this fight. I'm excited for next week. I hope it's a good battle. I hope it looks amazing. From the preview, it looks amazing, and it looks like it's going to be a Dot focused episode because, of course, the episode is titled As Long As I'm With Quaxley, I Can Do It. So definitely a Dot focused episode. I hope next week she finally fully comes out of her shell. She's around with the group outside. That's really great to see. Dot's really been great. It's really been a joy to see her, really get comfortable with the group. It's really been a joy to see. Love it. But that's all I really have to say about this episode this week. The episode was pretty good. Pretty all right. Definitely give it a good. I wouldn't say great or amazing or fantastic or anything. It's a pretty all right episode. I wouldn't say all right. I'll just say flat good episode. It's good. So yeah, that's all we got to see on this episode. Next week I will be back to review that episode, of course. And yeah, that's all I got to say. See you on the next one.